Sure. No, as you said, I've been here 17 years, but not 17 years in this job. I started as an assistant, which is an entry-level job where you're basically doing secretarial work. In this case, I was working for an executive that was at Walt Disney Pictures at the time. The company's evolved. I won't spend much time on that, but at the time there were 3 different film groups. There was Touchstone Pictures, Hollywood Pictures, and Walt Disney Pictures, all responsible for making live-action movies as opposed to the animation that was happening. And so I worked inside of that group doing administrative, secretarial kind of stuff. And in quick succession, I had a boss leave. I went into another office that had slightly expanded duties. And after a few years of that, I was invited to become a junior level executive, which we call a creative executive here internally. And so you started, the jobs of these executives, by the way, were to find new material, to help develop that material into screenplays, and then once you got a screenplay you felt like was ready to make, then you would help to put the elements together, a director. Typically you'd already have a producer on board. You obviously needed a writer at that point. Sometimes you had a director. If not, you needed to go find one at that stage, and then of course you have to find a cast and crew that's going to go off and make the movie. And so you have sort of creative oversight over that whole process, all the way leading to the end of the film through post-production. As a creative executive, at the junior level, you're sort of there to be an extra pair of hands to the vice president, whoever is on that project. Our team is comprised currently of 4 vice president level or senior levels, and then 3 junior executives. So I was doing that job for several years, and then I was promoted and became a vice president level, and I'm currently an executive vice president of production. But it all winds up being the same thing, where my job is to sit and to listen to writers and producers who have either bring in a pitch on a new story. Sometimes you get a script that's been written on spec to evaluate, for new material. Sometimes it's a book, could be a magazine article, other things. But one way or another, you get new ideas that come in. You could also generate new ideas internally. I mean, obviously, nothing's stopping us from doing that either. But then you get into the script writing process, and writers will go off and write. Usually, you have some level of agreement on what the goals are of that script, either based on an outline or a conversation, and then you get a first draft, and you sit down, and you've all read it, and you have a long creative conversation about what you think works, what you think doesn't, and you try to use your persuasiveness, but you keep your ears open in terms of trying to let all the best ideas win, and that's the development process on the script. And so I think that, did that sort of cover, I mean, that's what I do here, that's what I've been doing now for a long time, it seems.